Yeah. I just want to make mention that when you say I'm crazy, right, that's the way I'm going to look. Because a sane man can act crazy, whereas an insane person cannot be sane. Yeah. Now, I never dressed up for going to court because my thought was, you're not going to listen. You're not going to listen to the evidence. You're not going to listen to what I have to say. So why don't I just play the part of the homeless man that I am? Yes. When I could have, yes. Changed my appearance, yeah. Put a suit and tie on. I could have shaved and looked really professional. Because when you look at the outward appearance of a person, without looking at the evidence, see, the judicial system is really based on the premise that you don't look at the outward appearance of a person. You only look at the evidence. Furthermore, the wife failed to produce evidence of any violent acts on the part of the husband. My wife has failed to provide any evidence of any violence in our marriage. But you looked at the outward person. You didn't look at the evidence. I wasn't in Brennan, Washington, but you made me go to court since September 19th of 2017. And as soon as I did actually speak to my public defender, and he said, "No, you're having a 1077." I thought, well, then you must think I'm crazy. The judicial system is based upon evidence, not the appearance of the accused. I go to court, I take my hat off. Yes, I don't shower or shave for a few weeks. And I can look crazy. Oh, it is not based on appearance. It's based upon evidence. I can provide to you a folder of approximately 20 emails and 2,000 email addresses, and you decide. I know that if you're going to make the decision that the judicial system is based upon appearance, I can play the part. Because if you don't look at the evidence, you don't see what actually took place. Now, there's that domestic violence manual for prosecutors. Yes, I just looked at it briefly a couple days ago. I decided to read this whole prejudice and bias against men. Yes, a gender bias. The color of law bias based upon the appearance of a man. Now, for Wendy Ross in the King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office, yes. hmm How do you like my appearance? See, David was faced with a very, traumatic experience. Somebody wanted to kill him. Somebody wants to put me in a mental facility and administer psychotropic medication against my will for a non existent crime because of the refusal to admit the evidence. Yes. Now, why don't you get me these prosecuting attorneys that we're indebted to? Yes. Who shared their time, expertise, and writing skills to make this manual possible? Thank you to the following people. Yes. In the prosecuting attorney's offices right now. Because you, as prosecutors, you look at the appearance, you don't look at the evidence. Now, you've been putting a lot of people away, Tracy Orcutt. Yes, the grant coordinator for the VAWASTOP grant. Yes, in King County, Washington. Tracy, all the money we've spent in federal and state funds. Yes, I'm going to want that. Because I don't think prosecuting attorneys right now, when you do not look at the evidence, receiving an email from me through a third party saying I'm trying to cyberstalk, yes, the petitioner. I could Google her name and see that she works in a school district. Yes. I could Google my own name and see that my sons play football, but I never went to Brennan or Quilcene. Evidence, Rule 404B, other crimes, wrongs, or acts. Yeah. Evidence Rule 803A5, recorded recollection. Yeah. Now, it looks like you're working with a lot of different communities. Yeah. Refugee and immigrant. Yeah. LGBTQ communities. Yeah. Battered women syndrome. No, that's something we just looked at, page 88. Let's look at Washington State. I think that as being the pursued for the last 7.5 years, yeah. When cis speaks, po, I as a male, yeah, am going to want that vaginal muscle today. Experienced prosecutors conflict on whether or not experts should be called. Some prosecutors believe that experts should be called anytime you can call them, while other prosecutors believe that experts should be used sparingly. Yes. Now see this PDF. Yeah. The ndaa.org. Take care not to ask your expert for opinions that encroach on the province of the jury. Do not ask your witness to assess the victim's credibility, such as asking if he or she believed the victim. Now, the battered women syndrome, a collection of specific characteristics and effects of abuse on battered women, is known as the battered woman syndrome. Yeah. But it's not the battered spouse syndrome. No. There's no possible way that you could have battered me for the last 7.5 years when you decided to issue. I think you did. Let's see, the wrongful arrest that took place in May of 2012, where you served me the dissolution of marriage at the same time as arresting me. When all I had done is contacted the domestic violence advocacy charity in Clallam County about the diversion that I did in the 7 hours of parenting classes and the suggestion of the evaluator from Guam that we should seek marriage reconciliation. Yeah. Now, are you sure it's only battered women syndrome? Because there's a possibility that I could sue you as prosecuting attorneys right now for thinking that the multiple arrests that I've experienced where I wasn't in Sequim, Washington, yeah, where I wasn't in Brennan, Washington, yes, where I was not attempting to contact the petitioner through third parties, yes, where you as a court had decided that the alleged victim known as the petitioner, yeah, would be a victim for 10 years without her acknowledgement or appearing in court. Now, I'm a man, Pooch. I might be suffering from lowered self-esteem and may have developed coping behaviors to increase my personal safety.